Hi guys, it's been a minute. Welcome to my channel again. Today is Sunday and we're going to be doing Bible stories today. And here's the book that I'll be reading from. It's the Children's Bible, and we'll be doing the story of Daniel. Okay, that is Daniel and basically the Daniel and the three Hebrew boys. Okay, so Daniel was only a boy when King Nebuchadnezzar carried him off from his home in Jerusalem to Babylon as a hostage. Soon after they arrived, Daniel and his three friends were chosen for special training. They were all good-looking boys from some of the best families of Judah, and they had brains. "Put them in my school for three years," said the king. "Teach them our language, let them study our writings, let them learn from our great thinkers. I will supply the best food and wine. I want them to be fit as well as clever." Now God has given his people special rules about what they could and could not eat, and Daniel and his friends wanted to keep God's laws. So they asked the guard who was in charge of them to let them eat vegetables and drink water instead of the food the king supplied. "It's more than my life's worth to let you get thin or fall ill," said the guard. "But you can try it for 10 days and we will see." After 10 days, Daniel and his friends were fitter and stronger than the young men who had been eating the royal food, and they did well in class too. So the guard let them go on with their diet. And at the end of the 3 years, they won all the prizes. They knew even more than the wise men of Babylon, so the king made them members of his court. This is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The dream. One night, the king had a terrifying dream. He woke in panic and sent for his wise men. "I can't remember what the dream was," he said. "You have to tell me, and then you must say what it means." The wise men were very worried when they heard this. They were good at meanings, but they had to know the dream first before they could interpret the dream. "If you will only tell us your dream, we will explain it," they said. The king flew into a great rage. "I'll have you turn limb from limb," he shouted. "But no one could do what you ask," the men said. Basically, the king wanted the men to tell him his dream before and interpret it, rather than the king telling them his dream and then they interpret it. Then the king ordered his soldiers to execute all the wise men in Babylon. They came to arrest Daniel. "Let me speak to the king," he said. "I will tell them the dream and what it means." Daniel told his friends, that is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they all prayed to God, asking him to explain the mystery. And God revealed the dream and its meaning to Daniel. The king began to respect Daniel's God. "Your God is a God of gods. If he can reveal mysteries like this," he said. The golden statue. But a few years later, King Nebuchadnezzar made a great gold statue of one of his gods. It was 99 feet high. All the important people went to the dedication of the statue: governors, councillors, magistrates. The best musicians were even there with pipes and lyres and harps. "As soon as the music starts, everyone is to bow down and worship the god," said the king, "or I'll have him burnt to death in the hottest furnace." They all did as they were told, all that except Daniel and his three friends, that is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They spoke bravely to the king. "Our God is able to save us from the fire. Nothing is too hard for him. But even if he doesn't, we will not worship any other god, nor will we bow down to the golden statue that you have made." The king was in such an anger, was such an fury, that he had the furnace made 7 times hotter than usual. The men were bound hand and foot and thrown in. Then the king rubbed his eyes in amazement. He could see 4 men, not 3, walking calmly through the flames. And the fourth one, he said, "looks like a god." "Come out," he called, and the 3 friends came. They were no longer tied up, but the flames had not even touched their clothes, nor even burnt the hair on their heads. They did not even smell of smoke. "The God who can do this is indeed a great God," said the king. "Let no one say a word against the God of these men." All right, I'm going to stop there and just explain to you. So basically, this is the story of Daniel and his three friends. So Daniel and his three friends, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, were living in Judah until they were captured and taken into slavery to Babylon. And the king of Babylon there, his name was King Nebuchadnezzar. So King Nebuchadnezzar was known for his strength, and he gets angry easily and things like that. So basically, in depth, King Nebuchadnezzar is one of his counselors, one of his magistrate, people that work for him, basically beguiled or deceived King Nebuchadnezzar to create a golden statue, to create a statue on his behalf, in which people will bow down and worship the gods. All right. So Daniel's three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, basically refused to bow to the golden statue. All right. And the punishment for anyone who doesn't bow down to the golden statue is death. Okay. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego basically serves the God of Israel. That is the God that you and I serve, the God of Israel. Okay, so they told King Nebuchadnezzar that they wouldn't bow to any other God except their own God. And even if he doesn't save them from his hands, that is the king's hands, that is from the punishment of death, they will still not serve his own God. So King Nebuchadnezzar got very angry and told his guards to throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into a fiery furnace so that they can burn to death. But the story is the way the story goes is, as they were thrown into the fire, God was already in that fire. Okay, such that when they were thrown into the fire, they did not get burned, they did not get hurt. Okay, so they were just basically standing in the fire, and God was with them in the fire, preventing the fire from burning them. And King Nebuchadnezzar looked in and saw that they were not crying, they were not shouting, they were basically not being burnt. Their skin was still fresh as it was when they threw them into the fire. And then he looked and was in amazement. He saw that there was an angel-like being, which is God, an angel-like being who was in that fire with them. And then he told his guards to, quench the fire and bring those men out of there. And he basically decided that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God were the true gods. Okay? They're the true God. Now, the story and the moral of this lesson is, from the commandment, do not worship any other God except the true God. And stay true to the true God. Because He's able to deliver you from the hands of your enemies, from the hands of the evil ones, from the hands of people who want to destroy you. Okay? And if you're true to Him, He will also be true to you. Okay? So that is the story of this story that we just read from the excerpt of Daniel. Alright? So guys, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being here. If you want to get this book, it's the Children's Bible. It's actually a Catholic Children's Bible. So this is what it looks like. In case you scroll through, you can get it for your children. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye. Have a happy Sunday.